Good morning. And I have slept in this morning. It was almost 7 o'clock when I woke up. We're not going to be getting the sunrise. I wasn't set up for it. Yeah, I should have adjusted my camera last night before I went to bed. But I didn't. And I was extra tired yesterday. And I did not come back to the model table as I had planned. So consequently, there will not be a rollback. Yay! No rollback. Okay. Now, there's a couple of things I want to mention here. Occasionally, in fact, quite often, somebody will look me up on Facebook, and I will get a request to be a Facebook friend. And most of the time, in fact, lately, almost all the time, if somebody requests that I be a friend, I delete it. Unless I know you. If it was somebody that I thought, oh yeah, I knew you from 50 years ago or whatever, when we were teenagers, then I'll go for it. Otherwise, please don't take it personal if I don't accept your friend request, in other words. Okay, now, that being said, the latest buzzword in the 1/200 scale model industry is that somebody is coming out with the Yamato. And I have said probably maybe 4 times since I brought the model table upstairs here that I would be very interested if Tamiya or Trumpeter was to come out with the Yamato. Mainly Trumpeter, because they're big. They're probably the biggest in the 1/200 scale suppliers that I know of. But anyway, somebody else is coming out with one apparently, and we'll see. It looks like, from what I can see, that to get one landed here in Winnipeg, it's probably going to run around $1,000 Canadian. So that's pretty pricey, and I do have the Iowa sitting over there, leaning up against the fireplace. I don't know what'll happen. I'll wait till it actually does come out, and we won't be starting the Iowa for at least a year at the rate I'm going at the Rodney here. So it might be something that I'll think about. I'm not saying that I'm going to discount it. It's just that I know it's going to be very pricey when it hits the... what I think I'll do is I'm going to contact the hobby store here in Winnipeg and see if they know anything, and maybe if they're planning on bringing one in. Or it's probably something they will not bring in unless somebody special orders it. From what I've seen so far, the kit is supposed to have something like 1,000 parts more than these Trumpeter kits have. It's got something like 16 sheets of photo etch, at least from what I've read. I only just found out about it this morning, so there's a lot that I have to find out yet. And also, what I would like to do is I would like to see other people have a box opening first. Everything that all these models that I bought, like when we started the Bismarck, I was watching Scott building the Bismarck before I actually bought mine. And anyway, and the same thing with the Hood and now the Rodney. I'd seen box openings on it before I actually bought it, and I thought it looks pretty good. So I would want to wait until somebody got the Yamato. I don't want to be the first one, and to find out the parts don't fit right, and I've sort of got something that I just can't handle. And then what would I do? Would I do the Yamato instead of the Iowa? Or maybe there's a possibility to do them both at the same time. I am still thinking about rearranging the back room and setting up a table there. So that might be a good idea. Could have 2 going at the same time. And I just drag the camera back and forth. I don't have any fun if I can't video it. Okay, now, uh, I think that's about all I wanted to mention at the moment. Yeah. Oh, I saw something interesting at the carrots this morning. I put out fresh carrots and something interesting came along. And it wasn't Missy, but it was black. Okay, let's sort of move on here today. I do want to paint this deck. I was planning on doing this last night, this planking from here to here. The rest of this does not have to be painted, at least not Deck Town. Oh, one of the viewers made a very, you might say, important comment, and that was I should have painted the turrets first, then masked them off, and then sprayed the deck. And it seems to me I did do that on the either the Bismarck or the Hood. I can't remember, but I have a recollection of actually doing that, masking off around the outside. Now I'm going to have to meticulously paint by hand, which I kind of get a kick out of doing. You know. Anyway, live and learn, right? Live and learn. Now let's move on here this morning, and maybe I will spray this on camera. Okay, time is getting on here this morning. In fact, it's almost this afternoon. Now this is the cord that comes from the fan for my spray booth. And what I was doing in the past is I was just running around the other side of the model table where the outlet was and plugging it in and plugging it out to turn it on and off. And I've been talking about putting a switch on the box. And then I remembered I have this switch here. Now, I don't think you can buy these anymore. I don't think they pass regulations, but they do work. And it's an on-off switch every time maybe you even have one like this. But this particular switch really brings back nostalgic memories for me. And what happened was we used to use this switch for many, many years, and this cord actually, for the Christmas tree lights. And when I see this now, I remember the last year that we put up the Christmas tree, and I should mention that my dear wife Mary used to put up the tree. She used to like to do that. She'd put up the tree and put Christmassy stuff all around the house, and it was kind of nice. In fact, it was really nice. And the last year that she put up the tree, I noticed that she was having difficulty because her Alzheimer's at that time was starting to set in, and it was becoming quite noticeable. It wasn't a case of that she just couldn't remember things. It was a case of she was getting to the place where she couldn't do something like even put up the Christmas tree anymore, or at least she was finding it difficult. 12 months later, when we went to put up our Christmas tree the next Christmas, she couldn't do it at all, and she was not interested in putting up the Christmas tree, did not want to have a Christmas tree up. Well, we didn't have a Christmas tree. So when I see this switch and this cord, it, like I say, it brings back really nostalgic memories to me. Anyway, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the cord and make sure I get the polarity right. I'm sure most of you know how it is that this prong here is the ground and this is the hot one. So I want to make sure that I don't do it wrong and have the hot running into the grounded side and the fan and accidentally maybe electrocute myself, but I don't think that'll happen. Anyway, yeah, anything not to have to spray, right? Okay, I've still got my paint thinned out from yesterday. I think it was yesterday. And, no, it was the day before. Anyway, what was I going to say here? Oh yeah, I am not planning on doing the multi-camera thing. I'm just going to have the one camera. We will zoom in a little bit in this area once we get going. And we shouldn't have a problem with the mist going in, being drawn in with this part here, because I'm going to be spraying it, all being well, right in this area right here. So it should be drawing it in. And we are hooked up. Shouldn't take a whole lot, but okay, right about now is when I'm wishing that I had the switch on. I'll be right back. Okay, we'll clean that up. When I say that, I mean the airbrush. And let this dry and see what we're going to do the rest of today. Now, a little while earlier in this episode, I had mentioned that I'd put out carrots. And it wasn't very long after I put out the carrots that we were getting visitors. And as you can see here, one of the visitors is a little bit out of place, you might say. You know, I saw a documentary on crows, I guess maybe 10 years ago. And from what I remember, it was, classified as a very smart bird. At least it's smart enough to know that the carrots are for the rabbits. I'm wondering if possibly the crow was just sort of teasing the rabbit and pretending that it was going to steal its carrots. Who knows? Maybe it has a sense of humor. On the other hand, you got to recognize the fact that the rabbit knows what kind of birds are going to pick it up, carry it off, and eat it, and which ones won't. Like, it's not afraid of ducks, and apparently it's not afraid of crows. Now, maybe this is not a crow. I'm not a bird expert. Maybe it's a blackbird. It's definitely not a raven. I know that. Ravens are like 2-3 times that big. We have huge ravens here in Manitoba. Anyway, yeah, kind of interesting. At least I thought it was. Okay, we got our airbrush all cleaned up, and we still got a little bit of wetness going on here where I was spraying in and put it on maybe a little bit too heavy to try and get into the corners here around these, whatever they are, I guess little barbettes for something. But we're basically done. I think I did a better job on this than I did on the main deck. Maybe it's because I was able to handle it a little bit better. But we'll see how it is when it's dry, and then we'll compare the two. I think I said we'll take a close look at the other one, and then we didn't do it. I'm going to wrap today's video up here. So here's what's happening. Tomorrow I have another doctor's appointment with a different doctor, and so I'm going to do a bit of a rollback this afternoon for tomorrow's episode, just in case, I don't know how things are going to go. And maybe this afternoon what I'll do is I'll wire up that switch that I showed you earlier. Yeah, at least there'll be something for tomorrow. I don't know, what else can I say here? 12:26. I guess I can put this back on now. Sort of a repeat from yesterday. Or when was it? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Thanks for watching, everybody. And all being well, we will see you tomorrow.